So let's have a little talk about what real and factual business is. Alright, some would say that the United States, Trump made the conversation in the 1980s and 1986 about how the military in the United States was in business to kill people. And that in a private conversation that he thought I couldn't hear, Trump had made the comment that there's nothing that the American people and nothing that they could do against him because he was trying to claim he was innocent. Well, a series of events happened before that, which would put Trump out there to why I can hear him mentally. Now, once this is established or it happens in a certain way, even with the other Trump out there, if these series of events happen to a person and they hear every little thought and every little thing you say, then therefore you would be at total risk, and thus alleviating the fact that you could not prove that I didn't hear it. And that's where the court's standpoint right now needs to be. If they're going to keep accruing debt, because I do not accept payments in courts that aren't done correctly. When I say a court, I'm talking about you go back to where it looks like and I'll put an example out here, which is kind of screwed in a sense of the example. You see your big back deck? Now imagine that being a courtyard and people coming and going and talking who are just simply talking about relationships, getting to know one another to see if it would work. That's what court is. Next, as far as the extent of court, is the other part, which for so-called intelligent people down here at Williamsport, whatever, they call themselves a legal building. A legal building would know this, what I mean by a court. Some say courting, not courting, but a court. When you court a person is when you technically, you be the gentleman and boom, boom, boom. It either works or doesn't work. It does not include a sexual nature to it. So if you get the first, second, and third base in a non-baseball and sports way with a female, then you struck out, even if you hit a home run. So let's get back to what I really wanted to talk to. And everyone's like, oh, Trump this, Trump that. If you're a brainwashed piece of shit, you'll believe Trump. Because technically you can't use your own little brain to figure out what's real, what's not. I mean, everyone that I talk to and hear and whatnot, except for Trump and a lot of other people mentally, they can figure out the bullshit. And when I say bullshit, I'm not talking about the crap that comes out of the bull's butt. I'm talking about the fact that they can tell Trump's lying. That they've seen, they've heard the record, because the record was made public in Europe about Trump because it was a problem. It wasn't because someone wanted to beat him up the ranks. That was easy because with the fact of what was said by Trump, now some of what I wrote was what Trump said in a face-to-face interview. But what happened was Trump said that 20 to 30 years of waiting was bullshit because they had to get a refresher course, which is just technically to your advantage. But anyway, let me put it what law says about the one thing that you desire the most, Trump, is that the Air King Knight is only picked once in a life. And I'm not talking about, like a single life where mine says it's generational. That's multi. That means that it doesn't change. That means legally I can do a few things. Those options you left open, wide open for me with you by being a dumbass. One, I can pick treason. The second thing is trying to hold someone who's non-treasonous in captivity, in the sense of trying to say they're treasonous. Very easy. I mean, made this so easy. I can sit down and eat my cake and ice cream, plus my meal, have a few freaking drinks at the bar, come back here, and then take a shit and a piss in the toilet, and then make you actually, pay for all that without ever receiving anything. But anyway, let's get into what accruing debt is. Accruing debt is when you stop taking payment. The person can pay you, and you can receive and put the money in the drawer, and the debt goes down. But it does not mean that me being the Air King Knight has to accept that as payment from M&T, from West Branch Valley, from JSSSB, Jersey Shore State Bank, or Muncie Banks, or any of those. I don't have to accept any of that for his payment. That means that you end up having this debt, you clear this debt, it goes to zero, but it doesn't mean it's cleared yet, because I haven't accepted payment. And if you listen to certain things you hear on videos, like Fast and Furious was told to say one thing to a person. The car sits there, but I haven't accepted that car yet as payment. And the reason for it is he wants to do a check to make sure you didn't take a thing of blood, not a vial, a thing of blood and just dump it on the hood. He asks why that's a problem. It can be a problem, but no one wants blood on their vehicle they can't see if they've been tampered with. Does not mean that the person is a disability case. You can't actually make a disability case because I don't pack up in a box very well. That's one thing foster care needs to learn. One thing welfare needs to learn. Stop calling them cases. I don't pack up in boxes well. Because a case by definition is not a legal ramification. I haven't accepted, and I'm going to let these morons know that can't get anything right at unemployment, is I haven't accepted payment of anyone's unemployment, of anyone's taxes through unemployment, or even the tax needs to be paid through any employer. So everyone at the unemployment, Trump can't guarantee that for you. He's never been in government. As far as Washington, D.C., you're not a capital. Harrisburg, neither are you. There's no capital in the United States. People don't make up and reside over things for people, right? When you sign on a dotted line, it does. 400, 500 years back. It's not a life-to-life thing. And by the way, if you want to go life-to-life, you want to go for information, in the sense of just being informed of something, they all signed again, Trump. When I was, hold up. Legally, I can accept it, but I do not have to render it beyond accrued, as me being over them as more of a making sure that they're doing the right thing by law and by everything they do in life, such as to the point of like misuse of credit. If I had someone who was generally a whole person all the way through their family, and their mommy and daddy came in and said, I want to take out $5,000, and I got this piece of paper that says that I'm going to put it on my kid's credit. That's illegal. It's illegal at the age of 13, let alone that law states that from the age of 0 to the age of 13, no parent can accrue, nor can they gain, nor can they lose any money over their kids. That means that if you're under the age of 13, that if your kid steals a quarter and you cut his finger off and try to sell it on the black market, that's illegal. Because the law states this thereafter, no parent can accrue money over their kids, nor can the kid accrue money over the parent. Therefore, anyone saying I raised you from 0 to 18, knowing that this is a kid they had, it wasn't tampered with or wasn't taken away and someone else's kid was put in place, because that often happens here, under a certain circumstance, to where it's not quite a kid. Now, as far as Williamsport Hospital has not been accredited, either has New Mexico's police department, it has not been accredited. They all legally have to have bonds before they can take anything over or seize anything. All cops within the United States and within the European country must have at least $200,000 worth of bonds, and those bonds need to be cleared. In the sense of that means a car that's sitting out there on the lot must be the owner has not evacuated, but the owner must come in and they must make reasonable payment. Reasonable payment is no more than $25 to $50 that a police station already is paid for, the impound lot being paid for by that of the government. Thus, they can range a car sitting there for a lesser or no value. Meaning that a guy comes in, he's from another state, he loses, whatever the reason, the engine blew up,